Welcome this week in Baseball Player Profiles as we profile former KU and the governor, Ryan Baty. How you doing?
Good, Tano. Good to be here, man. The most popular show, baseball show on YouTube today, and I finally get a shot.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and get started. So what got you started into baseball at a younger age?
You know, I started playing when I was 7. I grew up around men's softball fields. I know that sounds funny. My dad was a competitive softball player, men's softball, slow pitch, and I remember going around, watching these big tournaments, and that's really where I cut my teeth with a bat, ball, and glove. Was watching competitive softball.
Okay. You played at Northwest.
Good.
And I was shocked when I saw this. First of all, you hit 21 home runs in your career at Northwest.
Yeah.
And you're 99 honorable mention All-American by USA Today. This is pretty impressive.
Yeah, we had, what's wild back then, I graduated high school in 99, Northwest, played for Mike Burrell. Wonderful man, wonderful guy. We had a good team. We had a really good team. We lost to the state champions in the state semifinals in 1999. Had a good career. Sophomore hit 500. Junior hit 580, senior hit 515, whatever it was. I remember these numbers. But we had good teams back then. And the City League baseball back in those days, but we had some dudes that came through there. So some guys that played professional baseball. And I think in my senior class, I think we had 6 or 7 guys go Division I baseball out of that class. So good times for Wichita baseball.
I'll tell you, just hitting 21 home runs is very, very impressive.
Yeah.
I coached a team at Andale one year, and we hit 18 as a team, and I thought that was a lot.
Yeah.
See that one person hit 21, especially back then with the pitching, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So you went on to KU. What was your experience like playing baseball at KU?
Love it, man. It was that whole process of signing at KU. I knew out of the gate, Tano, that I wanted to play close to home. I really did. Close to family. And to be honest with you, man, Wichita State, as a Wichita kid, that was my dream. And that was an interesting season of my life, the recruiting process, how all that played out. I was getting recruited. I had 3 successful years in high school, sophomore, junior, senior. I was getting recruited by, several schools, good schools. Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Arkansas, Nebraska was calling, Kansas was calling. And the only school that wasn't calling was Wichita State. And I'd had a successful career in high school, and I went to every camp, and this is where I wanted to be. And I played for a guy named Mark Standiford, who was a Wichita State legend. And I remember a conversation that he and I had when this was going on, and he says, "Is this where you want to go?" I said, "Yeah, I want to go to Wichita State. Can you make it known?" He made the call, and they never reached out, nothing. Finally, through Mark, it got to me that they would invite me as an honorary walk-on. At the same time, I'm getting offers from other schools, Big 12 schools and an SEC school. And I remember how that made me feel. And I remember how I felt dejected. I remember how I felt like angry at the time. And Mark Standiford, he was my summer coach, gave me the greatest piece of advice that I still give to kids today that are in the recruiting process. And he said, "Hey, listen, man, I know where you want to go, but go where you're wanted. Go where you're wanted." And Kansas was calling. They were trying to rebuild a program off a few difficult years. They were coming to games. They were calling whenever they could, writing letters. I mean, I felt wanted. Kansas is a beautiful campus, a great education, and that advice, go where you're wanted. It really changed the way I looked at recruiting. And I went to Kansas, and it was the best decision I ever could have made.
So, all aside, not just baseball, what is it like to be a Jayhawk in general? Just a Jayhawk.
Yeah. There's some, honestly, man, obviously Kansas University is, it's known for basketball. But what a lot of people don't know about Kansas is the seriousness of which they take athletics. Basketball set a really high bar there. So for us real Jayhawks, football is painful to watch right now. It's because there is a high bar for the expectation of what winning looks like. But what really the DNA of what it means to be a Jayhawk, honestly, is a guy who is very much still involved in the university and athletic department. It's a family atmosphere. Everywhere I go, I run into Jayhawks. We used to travel as a team. We'd have our get up on and traveling through airports, and everywhere we go, we'd see Jayhawks and Rock Chalk. And you begin to see just how deep and how broad the love for KU and what it means to be a Jayhawk. And I still talk to people that I played with and went to school with. And that's what being a Jayhawk really is about. It's about family atmosphere and really competing for the brand on your jersey.
There you go.
I had to interview Coach Price. He had a lot of great things to say about you. Tell us about Coach Price, for Coach Price.
So I went through the one thing that most college players don't want to go through in their career, and that's a coaching change. When I signed to KU, my freshman and sophomore year, I played for Bobby Randall, a guy who played in the big leagues for the Twins for, I think, 7 years total, just a baseball mind, but didn't win. Didn't win a lot. We do a coaching change to Coach Price my junior year. And here he comes, guy from Cal Poly. Coach Price is, for those that have met him, I think he's 5'5", 5'6", little guy with endless energy. This guy doesn't stop, right? And he comes in and we're taking BP the first go around, and he literally stops the BP round with our group and he says, "Bud, you're 6'4", 220 pounds. Hit the ball over the light pole." Literally. And what he did for me and guys on that team is he just released joy into playing baseball again. I've been beaten down my first 2 years when it comes to just not winning as a program, the expectations and a coaching transition. The guy walks in with energy, optimism, and he just breathed life into that program. And candidly, he breathed life into me as an athlete again. It made me enjoy baseball. If Rich Price asked me to run through the wall again today, it's been 20 years. If he asked me to run through a wall today, I wouldn't hesitate. I love him that much. He's the greatest thing that ever happened to my baseball career was playing 2 years for Rich Price.
He gave us some good memories about you, and I don't want to spoil them. So when his show comes out, and he did say he kind of left your graduation early. I'll give a little spoiler there. To go play baseball, by the way.
Yeah.
So give me one memory that you have of playing at KU. One game, something.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of games, obviously, playing there for 4 years. The memories that stick out to me, I miss the games. I can remember the way I felt walking into Texas A&M on a Friday night. I can remember going against guys like Houston Street. And I remember games, but what really resonates with me 20 years removed from being at KU, buddy, I miss my teammates. What I miss the most is the silly things, being in the clubhouse, the bus trips, the rain delays, the jokes. For the guys that have played before, you know this. When you're done, what you remember the games, you miss the games, you miss playing, but what you miss most is the baseball fellowship. What you miss most is what it means to be a baseball guy and what it means to just be around your brothers and your teammates. I miss that. And that's what I try to tell all these young guys, man, is every swing you take is one less swing in your career. There's going to be a day when this is over. Yeah, I know these guys, they don't realize that. There will be a day. For some of them, it's at high school. For some, it's at college. For some, it's professional baseball. But everyone's career ends at some point. And what you remember is you remember your teammates. You remember what it felt like to be in the clubhouse. There's special times, special memories, and that's what really sticks with me.
Well, you brought up playing with a family and your brothers. You had the rare opportunity that a lot of us don't get to have. You had your younger brother play with you at KU. What was that like, being on the field with him at the same time?
Incredible, yeah. That's special. The opportunity to really play with your brother. You know, Matt and I were close growing up. I was 3 years older than him. So we were close growing up, but, you know, we had a different set of friends since he was younger. We got to college, and I got to see a different side of him. When his baseball career really began to blossom in high school, I was already gone in college. I got to really know him, not just as a brother, but as a teammate. I got to really begin to admire the way he plays the game, his approach to the game. I got to coach him through and mentor him through what it's like to be a freshman, which is difficult for all freshmen adapting. So, we were roommates for a couple years. I got to know him on a different level as playing alongside him. And that in and of itself was just something that really, I wish anybody can experience with their little brother. I got to know him not just as a brother, but as a friend. And that was that's something I really value and something I look back on with really some fond memories of what it was like there. I can tell you some stories, brother. Boy, I can tell you some
off
stories.
Off air.
Yeah, we'll have to cut the mic.
Yeah.
That's a good man.
Yeah.
He's a good dude. He was a great baseball player. And he's trying to breathe that into what he has here with the academy.
I agree 100%.
But he did tell me that he caught. And I don't see him as a catcher. How was that day when you saw him behind the plate catching?
Well, I think he only caught one game. There's a reason for it, yeah. They projected him that way.
Oh, really?
You know, his size, but he could run well. He had a good arm, short release. Yeah, they put him back there. And didn't last long. But he was athletic, man, and that's what that's the conversations we have a lot around here is teaching athleticism and promoting athleticism. He started as an infielder, put him behind the plate a little bit, moved him to the outfield. He could play everywhere. Right. So he projected well there, but he was a better outfielder than he was a catcher.
All right. So
after your senior year, graduated, you get drafted by the Tampa Bay Rays. What was that day like for you?
Yeah, it was. There's some backstory to that because it didn't start out that easily. So my junior year of college, everybody wants to sign out of their junior year. I was no exception. That was my plan. I had sat down with Coach Price. We had talked about this was the plan. I was being projected between the 6th and the 10th round, and we had talked to some advisors and got the word out that if I was drafted between the 6th and the 10th round, that I'd sign and leave early. So we had planned that way. They had recruited that way. To fill my gap after my junior year. I'd come out my junior year and had an All-American caliber year, hit 380, and did what I needed to do to sign early. The morning of the draft my junior year, man, I get a call about 7:30 in the morning from the Rockies organization. They said, we're going to take you in the 6th round. This is the money. If we offer it, will you sign? I said, yeah, I'll sign. Send a message to Coach Price, said, hey, Colorado's going to take me in the 6th, Coach. It looks like it's going to come together. Everything's leading up. Everything's coming together nicely. 6th round comes and goes. Colorado picks a guy from Mississippi State, a first baseman from Mississippi State. Not sure what's going on. Phone starts ringing. Would you go here? Would you go here? They'd already got the draft board lined up in the top 10 rounds. I fall out of the top 10 rounds. The guy who was advising me calls and says, I got some organizations calling. The money's changed. What do you want to do? And I talked with my dad. We just sat down and visited and prayed and said, you know what, it hadn't worked out for a purpose, for a plan. Don't understand it, not sure. But we told Coach Price 6th to 10th round, didn't work out. Honor your commitment, go back to school. So I called Coach Price and said, hey, Coach, I'm coming back. And he didn't believe it because we weren't projecting this. This wasn't the plan. So I didn't sign my junior year, go out and play in the Cape, come back, play my senior year. I was over 21, so I was able to sign a free agent contract with Tampa Bay, able to choose the organization I wanted to work with. Fell in love with the scout, fell in love with the organization. I was able to choose to sign a contract with Tampa Bay.
Okay. Well, I want to go over some of your stats real quick before I get into the next question, because every year that you played at KU, got better. Yeah. So in 2002, you were honorable mention, all Big 12. You led the team in hitting 341 with 71 hits, 51 RBIs, 15 stolen bases, and you had a 13-game hitting streak. In the Big 12, that's impressive. Sure. It really is. In 2003, you were all Big 12 second team. You set the single season mark for hits in a season with 97. That's, again, Big 12, that's amazing. 2004, preseason All-American by Collegiate Baseball, which is very, very impressive. First team all Big 12. And then you got moved on to the Rays. So you had every year, like I said, very impressive. Very, very impressive.
I appreciate that, yeah.
So advice for parents. I mean, you have a younger son, you're playing, you're with 7-year-olds right now, but advice for parents, let's say 10, 11, 12, when it starts to get really competitive, parents are very competitive in those ages, have some advice for them.
Yeah, it's interesting to look back now that I'm a dad and I'm coaching little kids, compared to what my playing experience was. I think that I'm able to bring, and some of the guys that I coach with Tyler Weber and Joe Rowdy, and some of the guys that I coach with on the 7-year-olds, is we're able to bring a different feel and a different experience. And what I think some parents don't fully understand is these kids at 7, 8, 10, 12, 15, they don't know what they don't know. So meaning that they don't know what it looks like to have to compete at a high level. They don't know what it looks like to prepare. I mean, they may have a vision in their mind, they may have a thought in their mind of what they think it looks like, but a lot of kids just don't fully understand what it's like to have to prepare and have to compete and have to train to excel at that level. And you only learn that through experience or being taught that. So what I would tell parents is to trust, to find good coaching that has experience, and trust the coach to pour into your kid. Give them permission. See, we ask our parents permission to coach their kids. We literally say, hey, listen, We'll never disrespect your kid, but let us coach them hard. Trust us. Trust us to coach your kid hard, to teach them, because we know. We understand what it takes to get them to that level. So that's one thing is trust the experience that your kids' coaches have. But the other thing too is, and we forget this so much, let your kids have fun. My gosh, it's the greatest game in the world. Let them enjoy it. Let them have fun. And this game, the vast majority of the kids that run through our academy or kids that we coach, the vast majority are not going to play professional baseball. But what baseball teaches a kid is what I'm experiencing now in business. It teaches a kid how to compete. I think baseball is the greatest, and athletics in general, it's the greatest teaching tool for what it means to teach someone to compete. Right. Compete in business, compete in school, compete. That's what we talk about with my kids. It's like, listen, great athletes aren't just great when they get between the lines. Great athletes are disciplined in everything they do. They compete in everything they do. They want to excel. Do you make your bed? Do your chores? In schoolwork, are you competing in school and applying yourself? Because those are things that begin to duplicate in all areas of your life. And once baseball's done, that'll translate into your career, into business, entrepreneurship, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. The greatest learning tool that I've ever experienced is playing sports.
Advice for kids in high school right now, and I mean like the 15, 16, 17-year-olds that are all preparing to go through a high school season.
I love it, man. You know, I think the most honest advice I can probably get a high school kid is an old guy looking back, is play with no regrets, train with no regrets. Have an honest self-awareness of where you're at. Self-awareness is something that's lacking in our society, candidly, especially with young kids. Be self-aware. Listen, if you want to play in the big leagues, go. You can do it. You'd be surprised when you actually get to professional baseball. It's not what you think it is. You always, in your mind as a kid, think, man, these guys, that they're exceptional. Now, when you get between the lines, you start to see it's the small things that make the difference that get guys to the big leagues. If you want to play in the big leagues, set a goal and do it. But you've got to train on a level that's going to match your expectation. If you're on a diet, can't expect to lose 50 pounds and eat a Big Mac every other day. Your expectation doesn't match, or your reality doesn't match your expectation. So if you want to compete, if you want to get there, then you better train to get there. And do it with no regrets. I think the worst thing baseball players have sometimes, especially talented ones, they get to a level when they're 25, 28 years old, the game's over, and they look back with regret. Man, if I would have worked a little harder, if I would have done this, if I would have taken school a little bit more seriously. The worst thing any guy can live with is regret. Right. So I would tell him, go, man, sell out. Like, sell out until until they tell you you're done. Sell out, give it all you got, and this game will reward you for effort. That's the funny thing about baseball, man. Right. This game rewards effort. Sell out, get in extra inning. What are you doing on Sunday afternoons? We have the facilities. Get here, get to work, and this game will reward you, so that one day when you're 25 or 40, you look back and you can say, I have no regrets. Right. I rode this game as far as I can ride this game. I maximized my capacity, my ability, and I have no regrets. That's when a baseball player can walk away from the game and feel good about their career when they say, I sold out. I gave it everything I got.
There's some good advice.
So class of 21, 22, kids getting ready to move on into college. The 22s obviously are trying to prepare for it, but we have COVID.
It's weird.
And we have a weird year because the backlog, less rounds draft. There was only 5 last year. Now it's going to 20, so that should help a little bit. What advice could you give to those guys?
Yeah, the big thing, honestly, is have a broad perspective of what it is you're looking for. It's strange. Nobody's ever experienced anything like this in regards to the recruiting side, and very difficult. Have a broad perspective. Listen, if you're signing into college, go to hook it up and play. Become an All-American. Go play in the big leagues. But get an education while you're there. Get an education while you're there. Take advantage of the opportunities that you're given. Choose a school that wants you. Choose a school where you can go and you can compete early. Choose a school that's family. But listen to good advice. Listen to the college coaches that are trying to navigate the strangeness of this year with recruiting numbers and slots available and classes that are probably seniors that might be hanging over. It's a strange year. Nobody's ever done it. It's unprecedented. But have a broad perspective as you're going into this, so that you can get an education while you're there.
So what do you think players can do to separate themselves from someone else?
Oh, this is it. And the separation is in the small things. Yeah, we gauge 5 tools, right? You hit them with power, you hit them with average, arm strength, speed, these things. We gauge those things. That's how we grade it. But the intangibles is what coaches in college are really looking for. How do you get on and off the field? I mean, these are the things that we're teaching 7-year-olds. Do you make eye contact when people are talking to you? Do you say thank you when you're done? All of our 7-year-olds, when they're done with practice, they tell their coaches thank you. That's a Coach Price thing. Always say thank you. It's these intangibles. You get on and off the field. How do you wear your uniform, man? And people say maybe, listen, oh, that's so silly. No, it's not. It counts. These things count. Are you there early? Are you getting in early outs? Getting in late outs? Are you working? These are the intangibles. Are you a good teammate? Are you a good clubhouse guy? These are things that matter. Right. Do you receive instruction well? How's your body language? Those are the intangibles that coaches look for. I played for these guys. This is what Mark Standiford's looking for as he's recruiting guys. This is what Rich Price is looking. This is what Eric Wedge is looking for as they are recruiting guys. Is not only what do your numbers look like, certainly, what are these tools that measure you, but what are those intangibles? If I trust you and bring you in to be a steward over the brand on your jersey, are you going to steward that well? Are you going to do things the right way? And you prepare in that way. That's all effort. You choose that as a player. You choose the way you get on and off the field and the energy you bring and the attitude you bring. That's a choice. That's not taught. That's a choice that kids make. And the earlier you learn how to make that choice, the better you're going to set yourself off as you continue to progress in high school and college. Choose to win.
Good advice there again.
So with the merger of 316 and Sluggers, and obviously you grew up being a Slugger, and then the merger of 316. What do you think about the merger overall?
I love it, man. And here's what I love. I love that we're bringing opportunities to kids. You and my brother both, Mark Standiford, have always said that a lot of the good talent was always so separated here in this city, and now we're able to bring it under one roof and really develop it, and that's the key. The heart isn't just winning in the summer. The heart is honestly not even a business aspect. You know how these numbers work. It's tough business.
It is.
The key is development. It's pouring into these kids so that they see that, listen, you can make something of baseball. That you can pay for college. You can make a career out of it. It'll prepare you in life to compete in life. I love it. Now, I'm a Sluggers guy. I was one of the first Sluggers classes. Mm-hmm. We were called the Wichita Braves back then.
Right, Braves,
but man, listen, I'm the guy I am. I had a baseball career that I had, and the businessman that I am today is because of the coaching I had in that academy. Listen to some of the names of guys I played for. Played for a guy named Mike Jones, the only guy at Wichita State, the only guy in college baseball history that played all 9 positions in one game. Fabulous. Won a World Series in '89. Played for Mark Standiford, right? Steve Linhart, Tom Buchanan, Kelly Zane, Rocky Helm. These are the coaches that I played for.
Coach Price.
And then on to college into Coach Price. Like, these are the dudes that poured into me. And this is what baseball guys need to understand, is you have been afforded such an incredible opportunity with guys that poured into you. When it's your turn to pour back, you have a responsibility to pour back into these kids. That's what's so great about baseball is guys that have come through, is now we have a responsibility to give back what was given to us. And that's a responsibility that I know guys like my brother, that they take seriously.
Right.
They got to give back. They got to pour back in.
And the same, in my opinion, holds vice versa to kids and parents.
Yes.
That when you're with a coach that cares about your son, is doing everything he can, just because the team doesn't win, doesn't mean you should jump ship to go find another team.
Yeah.
You know, because that coach might not care because all he wants to do is bring home the trophies.
The most valuable lessons that young athletes learn isn't just how to swing a bat and throw a baseball. It's how to handle failure. Mm-hmm. It's how to handle success. It's those intangibles. Those are the things that are going to translate into a future baseball career, but also into a future career in business or anything they do. It's going to help you in your marriage. It's going to help you in your family and raising kids, man. Baseball teaches lessons. This is why I was so passionate during this whole COVID debate about youth sports and canceling youth sports. And you get on Facebook, gosh, all the experts in the world are on Facebook, and you read all these comments, man, about how it's not important and they're being selfish because of sports. No, listen, my testimony is a result of what youth sports built into my life. Right. It's important. These kids are learning lessons about life in sports. And we as adults and coaches have to be good stewards of that and teach them wisely. But parents have to also understand, let those kids, when they get between the lines, just back off. Especially in our organization, Trust us.
Right.
We'll get them there.
I agree.
We're going to grow them. We're going to grow them physically, mentally, emotionally. If you give me the chance, I'll grow them spiritually. Like, back off. Let us do what we do. We're going to get your kids where they need to go.
So here's a good one for you.
Oh, boy.
Tell us how you got the nickname the Governor.
Yeah, what's that? That's right. The Governor. Well, so I have let me use this wisely because so it's never used against me. Yeah, I really don't know how I got that nickname, the Governor. So when I was at KU, my nickname to this day is still the Governor.
Right.
I think it's because I talk a lot. I think that has something to do with it. I do have an interest in policy and bringing people together. I went on staff at the Dole Institute of Politics after I got done playing baseball. When I was in the Cape, they called me the Senator. I don't know where these nicknames. I think it's because I talk a lot. I'm not sure I should like these nicknames, considering.
Hey, you look at it this way: if you run,
You got all the Jayhawk fans are going to vote for you.
Yeah,
you probably could win now.
Yeah, Coach Price to this day calls me the Governor,
Yes.
and it's such a compliment from him. I mean, listen, when a guy like that favors you and tries to build you up, to this day, I text with that guy once a month, and to this day, he's always bringing me, lifting me up, telling me how much he loves me, and
he's a good man.
he's the greatest.
So now you're an entrepreneur. You have your own business. Tell us about your business adventure.
So got done with baseball. I was going to go to law school. Went on staff at the Dole Institute of Politics. Was going to start law school, and I met a guy in the mattress business. People ask all the time, how'd you get in this industry? And I literally have no idea, honestly. It wasn't a bucket list thing. And met a guy, found the business intriguing. We opened up a bunch of stores across 3 states. And literally, I've kind of fallen in love with an industry, fallen in love with my staff. 15 years now, we've had the Mattress Hub with retail stores. It's expanded into real estate. I married into a cattle family, and they've been gracious to allow me into the cattle business and different types of business interests. But again, I like being an entrepreneur.
Right.
I don't know if I'd be a good employee. I don't know. I like being an entrepreneur. I like being able to pull some levers to get a different output. So I enjoy it.
Okay.
And we've got a good business. We've been blessed.
Yes.
And you brought up spiritual stuff. I know there's a lot of things that you post on Facebook of you preaching and giving sermons and stuff like that. Tell us about that.
So one of the greatest things that came from my experience at KU is I found faith. I went to KU my freshman year. My second semester, my freshman year, I was living with one of my teammates who was a born-again Christian. And literally just watching his life, listening to things he said, it made me really internally understand that I was lacking in a lot of areas in my life spiritually. And I'm not ashamed to say that Jesus radically saved me my freshman year at KU. Literally changed my life. And changed the trajectory of my life, changed my worldview, changed my thought, changed my heart. And the most important thing I do is not business owner, it's not baseball coach, it's my identity is in Christ. And I've been involved in ministry now for a little over a decade. I'm an associate pastor of a church. I teach a Bible study on Monday nights, about 60, 70 people. And so that is the most important thing in my life is my faith. And I appreciate you asking about it because it's, I'm the guy at the party nobody likes to talk to. I like talking politics and I like talking about Jesus. So nobody likes, I'm that guy with everybody.
The next party we have together, I'll be there. I'll come talk to you.
There you go.
I know you're a busy person. I know you really are. What hobbies do you have outside of?
Oh man, that's candidly, I don't have a lot of hobbies left. My life is a hobby. Honestly, man, I do everything I do. I love being with people. I love people. I love coaching. I love our kids. I need to be better at some things. I need to manage my time better at some things. I love to read. I'm an avid reader. I'm a morning or very early riser. I'm a 4:35 a.m. riser, and that time between that 4:30, 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock is kind of my time. I do a lot of reading, a lot of studying, a lot of praying in that time. Man, I love being married. I have an incredible wife with incredible kids, an incredible family. My entire family's in Wichita, my side of the family. My kids play with their 4th cousins. I mean, this is how big our family is here. And that's the hobby, is just loving on people, man, and just being around people, being around my family, and being around baseball, man. That's what I do.
All right. Last question. Any additional advice you can give to players, parents?
Yeah. We've talked about some pretty good things today, a lot of good things. On the parent side, the parenting thing is hard. You want what's best for your kids. You want to push them. I can relate to that now more than ever that I have young kids that are playing sports. I think the biggest advice that I can give to a parent is really to make this game fun, especially at the younger ages when they're 12 and younger. Allow this game to be fun. Let them see the joy in it. Teach them, to be respectful to coaches, to be a good teammate, but let the game be fun. There's so much pressure we're putting on kids nowadays. Listen, there aren't major league scouts or college scouts walking around the infields or the stands of a 12-year-old baseball game. Okay, they're not getting signed. My biggest jump, I tell people all the time, I was a very average baseball player until I was 15, 16 years old. And then a growth spurt happened. I'm 6'4" now. Let these kids enjoy the game. Get them around people that can teach them the game the right way, that will hold them accountable, but let them enjoy it. Let them enjoy it. And then when these kids get to high school, have a serious talk about goals. Make them aware of expectations and the reality that they're living in to their expectations. Hold them accountable to expectations, but feed them. Man, I'm not talking about feeding them food. Feed them dreams. Let them know they can do it. Right. Like literally, I kid you not, I tell kids all the time, if you want to play professionally, you want to go to college, you can do it. You put in the effort. This game rewards effort. These 15-year-olds, you want to do it? You got a skill set, man. Work. This game will reward you. Parents feed into that dream. Give them opportunities with the academy and such. Give them opportunities to come and get that extra work in. It'll pay off for them in the long run. If it doesn't pay off with a scholarship or professional contact, it'll pay off in the way they approach their business, their family, their marriage. It'll pay off. This game rewards people, and parents need to understand that and unleash it into their kids.
Well, Ryan, I appreciate you taking time today for your schedule to come in and visit the show.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's like being around like Geraldo Rivera, man. You're becoming a legend in this thing, baby. I love it. You're doing good. Hey, this is good for baseball in our city, man.
I hope so.
We
appreciate it. That was the whole goal.
Yeah. That's the whole goal of the show, to be able to give some advice to players, parents, whether some of the things are the same, but just hearing it from different people.
Yeah, it's good.
That's all it's got to take from one person.
We appreciate you, but we appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that concludes This Week in Baseball Player Profiles with the governor from KU, Ryan Baty. Thank you.